Hi guys, and welcome to the Empress show and to this review. Well, kind of like a book summary to a point of The End and the Death. So, as I promised, at least some of you that I'm really doing this for, I'm going to go through the book. I have some notes and we're going to discuss it overall. But before I get into deep spoilers, because that's kind of like the point, especially when you're discussing such a book that is like above 1,000 pages, pretty much looks like something that I can kill you with. Yeah, that's a Bulgarian joke, sorry. But I have listened to it in an audio form as I do always because I just have no time to sit, literally to sit and read. But guys, first of all, let's get this out of the way. This is one of the best Horus Heresy books and 40k books that you can read. That is for certain. And then overall, as what happens and how it treats the characters, how it looks at the events that are happening, the details. Overall, this is pretty remarkable. That's from the good side of things. We're going to talk about the bad side of things. So, right off the bat, I gave the book an 8 out of 10 as a Horus Heresy book that is supposed to take a look at these events. And of course, this is just volume 1. So until we have volume 2, we won't actually know all the secret little details of what exactly happened. And of course, there's a lot of speculations, in between the 40k community about Sanguinius, Horus, and other stuff. So all of that, guys. So yeah, it is an 8 out of 10, but I would definitely not say that it's worth a second read. There is, when we're talking about the negative, there's a lot of bloating, so to speak. There's a lot of filler, and this is like, you can say, a common complaint about all of the books that have come out lately. I'm pretty sure that the beginnings, the early beginnings, the first books of the Horus Heresy, at least some of them, like Horus Rising, Legion, Fulgrim, they're a bit tighter. They do have side characters, but there are more compelling elements to them, and because the story is not as long, and because the story of these characters is not as long, it just feels a lot better, and you actually can feel a bit more for those characters. And here, everything is written to be very compelling, but because there are so many things happening, there are so many characters, there are so many events, and there's so much like clutter. It's very hard to put into words, but everything's like this. Yeah. Excuse my unprofessional sign language. But yeah, it is convoluted, guys, to some point, to some extent. I will give you a medal if you can focus on every little thing that is explained that has happened in this book. So we are going to focus on some important stuff. And of course, I'm going to miss something. I mean, it's impossible to catch everything. And the Audible app didn't really do a very good job at pinpointing some of the moments that I was trying to take a note from, so to speak, of. So there, I want to say a very quick thank you to dear Abby, who just gifted 1 Imperium membership. Thank you so much, and Jake got it. He deserves it. Thank you so much for that, dear Abby, and please take care and heal. And of course, hi to dear Clayton, who is also here in the chat. Hi to you. So almost all my Primarchs are here. Okay, guys. So I have this a bit of text to help go along with the explanations. So first, the book starts with this demon prince Samus, and he has appeared throughout the lore. It seems that he is in several books. He is called the One Who Walks Behind, which is very interesting. My name is Samus. Samus is my name. This is the only name you will hear. I'm the one who walks behind you. I'm the footsteps at your back. I'm the man beside you. Look out, I'm all around you, Samus. I'm the end and the death. So that's kind of like confusing because you're thinking, oh, what role is this guy going to play in the overall fiasco? I'm not even sure, guys, because he's not like a major chaos god or anything like that. He's a demon prince, which means that he has a huge part to play, of course. So he is apparently in Horus Rising. No fear, which I haven't read. Fear not dread. The Solar War. Also, I haven't read these. Read these. So there is that, and this guy is talking with some cryptic language about what is actually happening. And the main thing that I personally extracted from it is that whatever we see now going on, the Battle of Terra in this particular book, that is not the main thing. The main thing is the battle for who is going to control the Imperium. And of course that is the case, because when you think about it, whoever is actually in control of the Imperium can control the whole universe and can use that to also inflict a lot of control on the Imperium, as Chaos does through a lot of means. So he was like, oh, the earth, this rock, really doesn't matter. What it really matters is the whole thing. Yeah, of course, but like the earth is a center of everything, and it's pretty damn important, is our place of birth, us the humans, and of course the place of birth of our emperor. And so it is freaking important in a matter of principle to protect that. That is our human view, of course. But yeah, he is right on the grand scale of things. And the main goal is to freaking somehow defeat chaos. So that's the first thing. And then we have the chaos on Terra is what I wrote. That means that basically Terra was in this huge cloud forming. I mean, this huge cloud of chaos. It was like going to the warp. Uh, so I imagine it like being, imagine it like being surrounded by this huge warp storm, which like kind of how it is. So that is why Gilliman, I think he couldn't find it. It is, yeah, it's pretty a dour situation. So the Dark King Horus, that kind of comes up throughout the whole book, so it's not like in order exactly. But right now it seems like, I mean, this Dark King is mentioned several times, and kind of seems like it refers to Horus, because it does seem like he is supposed to, or maybe he was supposed to ascend to godhood if the events that transpired didn't transpire. So damn it, sorry guys. So if he didn't freaking die, you know this from the previous book, so it's not a spoiler. Then of course we have Malcador, and about Malcador, there's a lot of things there. I mean, there was one novel that I had somewhere in my phone. It was a short novel that I went through. Yeah, I mean, I'm very happy that it was in audio form, where he basically directly said that the Primarchs are tools, that they are not the Emperor's sons. There's no such loving dynamic like father and son between the Primarch and the Emperor. They always were for this exact purpose, to be tools, to be used in the war, to do a lot of things that the Emperor cannot do all by himself, because he's not an actual god, which is also addressed here. He's not an actual god, and he's still not an actual god. I also discussed this in many, 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 many other videos. My god, this is going to be like my 440k video, I think, or just Warhammer in general video. Yeah, I think just Warhammer in general video, the 400th one. So, yeah, basically he is not a god. He cannot do things as gods do. He cannot be at a ton of places at once and do everything all by himself and actually create things from his hands. He still needs, or just from his thoughts, he still needs technology and someone to do things for him. And obviously, he has an armies for that. He uses technology. He uses his brilliant intellect. So he is, working and creating as a human would, just with more power up his sleeve, his own powers, of course. But that does not make him a god. That is a different topic. Once again, but it's pretty clear that by that point, although he is extremely powerful, do not mistake power for godhood, because those are very, two different things. He might get close, how, Horus might have gotten very close to becoming a god if the events didn't transpire the way that they did, but also he would be very controlled by chaos and he will not be entirely himself. But we'll see how that's gonna be presented, guys, when we actually get to volume 2, where we are supposed to get the scene, the scene of the battle between him and Sanguinius, between him and the Emperor, and of course, to see if really he regretted it. I mean, if Horus came to his senses at the very last seconds or just moments in time when the Emperor decided to finally get that sword through him and permanently kill him. So if in that moment he really regrets it and he comes to his senses, well, to me, I would see that definitely as, yeah, he maybe went down his own path of vengeance, just jealousy towards the emperor. He became what he hated so passionately, and with that, he was extremely open through his ego to the control of chaos. So it is of course ironic. So bravo to you, Horus. You totally showed the emperor, right? Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Malcador, guys, to not deviate from Horus, because there's always a ton to say about Horus, but Malcador here is really presented not as this calculative guy. I mean, he is, but first and foremost, he's a friend of the Emperor. He is his loyal servant. He loves him. He respects him. I wouldn't say exactly worships him, because the Emperor also respects him like a great deal and he loves him. So here is presented that they both love each other in this amazing bromance for the ages, for thousands of years. And there's just this amazing monologue of Malcador throughout. I mean, at one point the book really becomes from his point of view, and he is talking about the emperor, his own experience with the emperor, the years that have gone by, the fact that he prepared for the day that he's supposed to get to the golden throne, although this role was meant for Magnus, but when Magnus have not, when he didn't prove to be worthy, I mean, he proved to be the opposite. Unfortunately, it comes to this. It comes to the fact that Malcador has to sit on the golden throne for whatever time, he can, and survive for whatever time he can, and just replace the emperor temporarily until the emperor can actually get up from there and do some business. I thought that I forgot the point there, but I didn't. So yeah, Malcador, the scene where he he claims the throne. He climbs the stairs, he stumbles, he gets on his knees, but there is Vulcan, and there is also, I think, Sanguinius, and they both lift him up. I'm sorry if I make a mistake on that. I'm sorry that I cannot read your comments, guys, because I gotta, keep this tight. The book is long, and my memory of it, I gotta keep this tight. So it is amazing. Everything about Malcador I listened to maybe at least 2 times. It was all worth it. I just love that. Then we have the decimation of the Custodes. So when they got, all of that is a spoiler territory by this point, guys. So what happened is that, Malcador and the Emperor thought that Horus is really not very wise, and that he lured them. Okay, it's like, I'm making a trap, I'm dropping the shields of the vengeful spirit, and everyone else are like, Horus, what are you doing? But he is like, do it. so so yeah, and they did, and they thought that this is not really a trap, but it's a trap. So this, I mean, it was very hard to justify the way that they thought about this, the way that the emperor and it was implied, how Malcador also thought about this, that it's actually okay to do it when it was an obvious trap, because they did underestimated Horus a lot. So basically, the whole ship, by that point, when the emperor got there with the Custodes, the ship was like an entity on its own. The walls were not even walls; everything was like alive, and the Custodes started feeling very compelled. Hearing voices in their head, kind of like hearing a truth in your head, but deep down you know that it's not, but you feel it like the truth. So they were extremely compelled to kill the emperor, attack the emperor, which they're very much created not to do. But in the way that it was done here, it was kind of like exploiting a loophole in their system, in their creation, in their whole nature. So that led to some Custodes turning on the emperor, and he had to decimate them along with part of the ship, and then we get to see his full powers, which was amazing. I did a separate video on the Custodes and their betrayal of the emperor, basically being corrupted by chaos. Some people think that they were not corrupted by chaos, and you can think about this in a few ways, but corruption is corruption. um, Basically, I mean, maybe, yeah, it's done not the way that we see to be done previously, but what is so much of the difference? They were convinced that they had to kill the emperor, and although a lot of them felt sick, a lot of blood started leaking out of their mouths, and I don't know, there's a lot of details there. I mean, they were fighting it because their whole nature is against that. They still did it. A lot of them still, they succumbed to this and did it. So I would say that this is forceful, but it's still a corruption, to a point nonetheless, because think about how, well, it's different, but still, how Horus is corrupted. He opened himself to that. Here is more of like mind control to the Custodes. So from one hand, they're not surrendering to chaos willingly, consciously, but they're still surrendering to chaos. They're still caving in. So you can think of this as not corruption by conviction, but like Horus did basically. But it is a corruption of the soul, their essence, that made them commit the atrocity of attacking the emperor. So yeah, you can think of this however you like, but to me there's corruption in them that made them do stuff, although they didn't consent to it. They were not like, oh yes, I'm totally turning chaos now, yay. No, but still it is a form of corruption. Okay, so then we have Rogal Dorn, lost in the desert, corrupted or not. So this is absolutely crazy. Rogal Dorn, I mean, the wall of all the Primars, basically. The guy who built stuff, who is so stern, who is so focused, so serious. Well, he is a lot of things. Well, Rogo, poor guy, got transformed to this, like I would say, I would call it a pocket dimension, probably another planet somewhere, along with his awesome Iron Fist. And so many years have passed that basically they are all dead, dust, their armor is dust, he's around everything that is dead. He is trying to stay sane, he's repeating the same stuff over and over and over again to try to convince himself that he is still Rogal Dorn. But by the end of this, by the end of the last, the last moments of what we can see in the book, Rogo basically starts to crack, and that is shown by the fact that the voice that he hears is like well, all that you wanted was, to fight, to be a warrior, to be free, to spill blood. You want blood, don't you? You want blood. And Rogo is like, oh yeah, blood to fight, yeah, blood for the. And instead of saying blood for the blood god, because if he did say it, if he did finish that, then this would mean that he is corrupted. But no, he stops there, he doesn't say it. And after that, we don't get what happened to him. So we will, because we do know that he will get to the Emperor eventually, and he will help him out to the Golden Throne, as far as I remember. It was not Gilliman, it was Rogal Dorn, as far as I remember. So he has to somehow come to his senses and come back. Although, how everything is going to come back to him after so much time, almost be driven to insanity, I don't know, but I pray that this is written very, very well, because he did lose himself there to a point. As much as he is so resilient to a cosmic level, this just drained him, because he lost his purpose. He lost his meaning of life. He lost his existence. He was prisoner there for more years that we can probably count, more years than any human ever had to be in any place, against their will. So, like, poor Roll. Then we get to Sanguinius, and Sanguinius is great. That's what I wrote here, because Sanguinius is freaking great. Yeah, he was written very well, I think. Here, he was super heroic, super amazing. It was emphasized that because of his fights with Engron, and of course he won that fight, he killed Engron. That's why I want to know how he came back to life now in the 40k current time, but this is something for me to research. Actually, dear Clayton, if you're watching this, you can write that to me on Discord. It's gonna be a good topic. And for me to research, yeah, how he did came back to life. That's some of the newer novels, probably. So he fought that demon before that. He won. He held the Eternity Gate. And basically, it's explained that his wounds are very, very bad, to the point where he might as well be dead from the wounds, but he still isn't, and he's still capable of fighting. The Emperor does not want him to go. The Emperor looks a lot more concerned here. I mean, he's not written so tyrannical, he's not written so, like a guy without no feelings. He's written like someone that's extremely determined to protect, his sons, Terra, and everything else from chaos. So, of course, it's kind of confusing. People are not. I know that other fans are going to say that, well, it's the lore changes. Yeah, but even in the Horus Heresy books, and this is a series, I think that they have to, be a bit more consistent, because the Emperor, like, how can he be written like he's someone that is extremely calculative, stern, has no feelings, and then be written like, well, he actually cares, he's concerned, and you can say that maybe he is concerned because he's gonna lose his most powerful weapons, his sons, but it looks like is not exactly the case. It does look like they have a connection, a loyalty between them. It really does. And Sanguinius is so heroic here. He has visions. He shares them with the Emperor, basically, to a point. And the Emperor actually says that he cannot see all of his visions. So it's not like he can just scan his head and be like, oh yeah, I totally know what you know. It is not like this. So Sanguinius says that basically he had many times in his life until now in which he could have died. But he didn't. And now it seems like this last fight with Horus is going to be it. But he is ready because he feels that if he fights Horus, then the Emperor has a chance to defeat him. So he's ready to die, and he consciously goes. He convinced the Emperor to go. So that's that. And there's some stuff about Constantine Baldor and conversations between him and Sanguinius, which was pretty awesome. I just love that. I love that. I gotta research more Constantine Baldor. He's a very interesting figure. I gotta drink a bit of tea. With my Man of Steel mug, not that this is related to Henry Cavill in any way. Kind of like a coincidence, actually, that I chose this. It was just there. Yeah. Okay. So we talked about all of that. Then the book has filler. It just has a ton of filler, like I said at the beginning. So I already talked about that. I just don't like the other characters that I feel like they're not going anywhere. Maybe they're going to go somewhere in volume 2, like Acte, even John freaking Grammaticus is here, and we do get some idea um, of other things, but really this whole scene, how they will, him, Acte, and I don't remember her at the moment, they talk to Vulcan about what they can do in this situation, but they really couldn't do much, and Acte could do a lot, and I was like, how can you do a lot to help? How? You know, she has to be super powerful to stop Horus. I don't know. And Vulcan was great. I love spending time with Vulcan, guys. I mean, anytime that a Primarch is written, I'm impressed. I'm very impressed because they're good. I mean, all the writers, I think, but Mr. Dan here, I think that yeah, he's good to keep characters. I mean, the Primarchs, the Emperor, like themselves. Although, like I said, the Emperor is presented a bit more soft here. Not soft in terms of the fact that he is not powerful, but you know what I mean, not as bad or cold as you can think. And then there's this amazing line when the Emperor was destroying the Custodes. Uh, kind of went something like, "Did you see who are you against? Did you see what's coming for you?" It was awesome because he barely has anything to say in this book, which I understand it's hard to write such a powerful character, but everything that he has to say, it's amazing. And I'm pretty sure that it's a big risk if they allow the Emperor to talk about something and then they could not pay that off some kind of a way. Could be risky. So yeah, I understand. Yeah. Yeah, guys. So a lot of gems in this book. A lot of gems. And very unexpected things. Yeah, my only criticism, because we have the compelling writing, we have the awesome character moments between the bigger characters, which to me is very important because really, guys, I do not want to spend hours with the side characters, the side stories. It was amazing, I mean, how Dan was able to draw, paint this picture of Terra, going into this horror, being into the warp, basically. The same day repeating over and over again, because, like, being into the warp, because there is no time that is equivalent to normal time there. It's like living the same day over and over again. And yet, time does go forward because things do happen in some kind of a linear path. So there's that. From that kind of a side, it's always going to be a bit confusing, but you get it. You get it to a point. It makes sense to a point. If you really have to dig into the logic and all of that, probably not going to look that, logical, but when it goes for such things as the warp, almost everything goes, if not everything. So, yeah, you can say the day repeats itself. Okay, this concept is not anything new. It has been throughout fantasy for a lot of years. There's even a very funny episode, Been There, Done That, of Xena Warrior Princess. I think it was like the first episode of season 3. It's just so funny. It's amazing. She had to figure out why the day is repeating itself, fix that, and then the day stopped repeating. And it's just brilliant. It's brilliant. Okay, anyway, I love it. I always love to geek out about Xena because it's still brilliant. Anyway, so 8 out of 10. And I can't wait to see volume 2 because it's gonna be absolutely amazing. Now we have to focus on the lion, see what the heck's gonna happen there, because it's just like a lot of things can happen. But as I said before, just suppose that Gilliman is going to deal with the Tyranids and the lion is going to deal with, with Angron and other whoever, and then eventually they're going to come together and be like, hey bro, you are old, you're not old, you are the boss, Gilliman. Yeah, I'm the boss, brother. And you're not the boss. What is exactly the line here? I mean, about which Primarch is going to do what? No, I really think that Gilliman is going to remain the Emperor's regent because he's just the most qualified for the role. He has, a whole system. Even if he wasn't the Emperor's regent, which he ruled without the Emperor's help for years. Anyway, so awesome book. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. 8 out of 10 is pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna check your comments real quick. And of course, guys, if you like to support me, we're OnlyFans, where I do all of my meaningful sex educational content, fitness, health, nutrition, relationship advice, and more. And sometimes we even talk about Warhammer. Yeah, because I'm just there available for anyone to talk to me about whatever you like. So yeah, I'm there for you. That's kind of the point. And if you want me to review movies, even songs actually, on Patreon, PayPal just for regular support. So I'm happy that also Amala Deepa joined us. Because about the male songs, because you have to request it, otherwise I'm filling my channel with content that I don't usually do. That's why. So if you really want to, you gotta be a patron. That's the thing. And it's also because the copyright is on my butt constantly about even things that they're not supposed to be on my butt about, but there still are. And DC, especially lately, DC. I mean, a lot of Indian content, but DC was not like that, at least for 2-3 years or more, and then now they are not letting go of my Blue Beetle trailer reaction, so they think they're right on that one. And there's a lot of stuff like that. So yeah. And I've actually replied to you. Wow, that's great. Yeah. Midnight here. Oh, that's great. Here is 10. 10:20, so we are not very far away from you. Yeah, it's pretty good, DRV. I'm pretty sure that you're going to love some moments, but you already heard that whole scene with the Custodes, that whole chapter that we literally took a look at that in a separate video. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. And until next time with me, get it, reviews, guys. Bye bye.